So one of my logo design clients has just launched a logo that I made for him almost 3 years ago. But it's interesting looking back on this job because I got a lot wrong with my process back then. There are a few teachable moments that I can pass on to you so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. The first thing I got wrong, or at least something I do differently now, I gave the client multiple options to choose from in the first round. So there were lots of schools of thought on this one. Some people like Alan Peters show 15 sketches. Z Factor, the guys behind the Angry Designers podcast, they show 9. A lot of agencies out there, they show 3. And on this job, I showed 2 options. So when Mike Sims contacted me and asked me to design a logo for his new creative agency, Winsome Co, his tagline, Advancing Human Connection, immediately gave me a load of ideas for concepts that we could use. He also gave me this giant Miro board where he'd done so much work on the ethos behind the brand. His new agency would end up offering branding as a service, so there were no surprises that this was so detailed. Some of the words that jumped out at me were magnetic, enduring, connectional, conversational, and timeless. So in my first concept, I came up with an idea to use a cup phone, a distinctly human, non-digital form of connection, and I worked up a ton of different variations that could be used as a logo. Once I had the concept, I whittled this idea down until it was as simple as I could make it, this singular cup with a central knot that faces the user. My second concept used the magnetic attraction idea. So I worked up an option that used magnetic field lines and then masked off a symbol in the center. This could then be used to create things like background patterns. The problem with showing 2 options is that it not only takes longer, but it also often creates indecision and doubt within your client. Personally, I've found in the past that clients will often take elements of both options to try and create a sort of new Franken logo, which will often muddy the main concept and create a less focused design. However, I wouldn't need to worry because Mike hated both designs. And this was because of the third thing that I got wrong. Mike really didn't like the cup phone idea. Because I hadn't had the concept approved, I wasted weeks of work using a concept that the client didn't even like. Now today I use something called the brand noun process. This is where you get a bunch of nouns approved before you start sketching. So words like enduring, connectional, conversational, and timeless are no good because they can be represented by all sorts of ideas and concepts. Instead, if you choose nouns or things and you get these pre-approved before you start work, then there's no room for error. Your designs can focus on style and execution, knowing that you haven't missed the mark. Luckily, even though the style of my second option was rubbish, the magnet idea was something that Mike could get behind. So I went back to the drawing board for another shot at incorporating a W into a magnet representation, and boy did I try everything, mainly because I didn't want to get this wrong again. And eventually I came up with this simple representation of an electro-magnet with these coils forming an abstract W in the center, which Mike loved. So you might be wondering why it took him nearly 3 years to launch it. Well, that's because Mike doesn't do things by halves, and he had an entire launch party where he gave out a load of branded swag, which he also sent me in the mail. I love it when my clients do this. Thanks, Mike. So yeah, head to my website for more images of the project and follow me for more like this, please.